welcome to Soprano Hotel podcast. My name is Diana, and together with Sebastian, we will be sharing our more than 10 years of experience within hospitality sector, consulting, recruiting, and outsourcing.
Exactly. And just imagine you are traveling around the world, maybe in the private case, maybe in a business point, and you have the clearness and the safetyness that every hotel, every traveling has the same quality, gives you a good feeling, good energy. And that is why we decided to invite you in our podcast as owner of a hotel, as management, as team member from a hotel, and as a guest as well.
Over our podcast, we will go through the whole year cycle, sharing and discussing the processes of the hotel and sharing the best experiences and insights. Stay with us. Hello, dear listeners. Today we are welcoming you together with our guest, Ueli from Gudbrandsgard Hotel in Norway. Hello, Ueli.
Good morning.
I am very pleased to have you here as our very first guest in our podcast, Hotel Soprano. And we have been working with you for quite a long time already. And I remember in our meeting in Oslo, one phrase that I keep repeating and telling everyone about that you inspired me. So this phrase was that it's not the most difficult to get on the top, speaking about the standards, but the most difficult is to stay on the top, and that is the excellence. And maybe you could shortly also introduce your hotel, what is very unique about it.
Gudbrandsgard Hotel has just celebrated its 25th birthday last November. The hotel is located just 50 kilometers north of Lillehammer, and basically destination Kvitfjell, and hence the hotel was born in connection with the Lillehammer Olympics in 1994. The hotel is located in the middle of the slope. We just had the ladies' ski races. Downhill was planned. There was two Super G races that were being skied on Saturday and yesterday. So we're in the middle of the World Cup ski slope in Kvitfjell. The hotel has sort of it's a wooden lodge. The idea was to build a first class hotel for active people, so it should be of good or even excellent quality. It shouldn't be sort of fancy pantsy, and it should be more rough. You should be able to go in there in your ski boots or walk around on your socks. It should be solid. It should reflect the solidity of a Norwegian farmhouse of the valley of Gudbrandsdal. Dal means valley in Norwegian, and it should also basically it was there is this story of it's a children's tale about Soria Moria Castle. It's being basically Soria Moria Castle is also coming up in the stories of Per Gynt by Henrik Ibsen. So it was this Soria Moria Castle idea that was behind or in the owner's head somewhere when the hotel was being built. The hotel has now been renovated over the last years. Both rooms, pool and spa area, conference area, everything has been redone. So we're looking pretty good. The hotel is owned by a Norwegian company, Alpinco. Alpinco owns the ski lifts in both Hafjell, which is basically our big brother or sister, depending on how you look at it. So Hafjell and Kvitfjell are our two ski destinations where we own the ski lifts. We have a booking company where we have about 3,500 beds in our portfolio, both own beds in own projects and rented chalets and houses for holiday rental, and we own the hotel. Alpinco would initiate and build different building projects, both for housing and restaurants and all sorts of things. So the hotels, that was a bit long, but the hotels USPs are basically the special group. When you come in, there is a huge chimney. There is a great sofa group in front of the chimney where people would meet and mingle. It's friendly employees. It's good rustic food. And it's this concept of, or the feeling of this acceleration. I have had many guests that totally unsolicited and unhelped have pointed out this feeling that you drop your shoulders, that you would gear down, that you would disaccelerate at once you're basically entering.
I know, coming back to the beginning, that you have a lot of experience in the field, starting from also your studies, because sometimes people become hotel managers somehow in other way without studies, but natural path brings them there. But you have purposely started this career from your studies, working with Royal Viking Line Consulting, and then you started working with the Tom Hotels for almost 20 years, right? And how is it related to your philosophy about the excellence, the standards?
Yeah. Well, basically, I think there are sort of a few excellence. First and foremost, it takes one to know one. So you have to, I think it's very important that you travel, that you go and look at excellent and good things in order to really know what something excellent or good really looks like. And then there is we'll probably end up with the conclusion that like excellence in different places in the world look different. Like we will never be able to offer this above and beyond service like you might experience it in somewhere in Asia or in the United States. We will not have the kind of excellence of routines where every person that you meet will greet you according to the hotel or the chain's standards. They will be dressed to the last button of their shirt according to the company standards. There are different standards of excellence and there are different perceptions of excellence. What we basically would like to achieve is that we are the best hotel seen from our guests' eyes. So for us, the parameter that is really important is the guest, the perception of the guest. Excellence is probably basically about doing something. Either you go all in and you really give it your best shot every time and every day and with every guest, or you just don't, and then it's basically better to do something else. So excellence is for me first and foremost eventually something that describes the degree of effort that the host or hosts would put into their aim to achieving their goals of excellence.
How do you train? Yeah. How do you train your teams to provide with this philosophy?
Yeah. I surely I've heard this quote by I think his name was Rob Kelleher. He was a legendary founder of Southwestern Airline, and their thing was basically that they hired for attitude and they trained for skill. I think that's probably a good thing, and I probably will be able to teach you to carry a couple of plates, but I will never be able to teach you to smile, to charm the guests, to chit-chat, to make guests feel at ease. So basically, when we do our welcomes of the new crew every year, I would greet them saying, welcome to Gudbrandsgard. You have been elected to be one of our staff members. You're much more than a cook or a cleaner or a server or a receptionist here. You're the hosts of Gudbrandsgard. You're it. Whenever you meet the guest, you are Gudbrandsgard. You represent the hotel. You leave your moods and private clothes and whatever in the cloakroom. And once you're on the scene at work, you're a host at Gudbrandsgard. So that's basically, we try and install this attitude and this role, and we work pretty. We try to work on that. I practice, like many of my colleagues, management by walking around. Very important to recognize all the people. Our size of hotel, it's not that difficult to know everybody's name. We know their role beyond of the role as a host. We know eventually if they have trouble at home. We know if they have children or not. We know if they are cold or not, because some of them come from Greece or wherever. So sometimes it's quite chilly. So it's just basically common things. As to training, we have these sessions at the start of the season. Mainly a safety training, an information training. It's basically 1.5 days of different training modules that they have to do. And then we have an app on our phones, Alpico Connect, where we would pass, where we have an online training program, which is about the mountain and the ski lifts and Alpico and the management and all that good stuff. And then you have your quiz, basically, which you would complete online on this app. We're also building elements that are more related to the different jobs that are being done. That's sort of work in progress and is permanently being developed.
What do you think motivates people the most in the hospitality sector in the job? Because let's agree that a lot of people, especially in some hotels, are coming for seasonal job. Right? So they are coming and going and maybe switching, but some people come back to the same workplace. So what is it that makes people want to come back?
That's usually the team, the hotel, and the guests. I think it's becomes more and more important that all the hygienic factors are really in order. So we still have a hard time basically fixing good accommodations for our crew. We should really have ideally a staff house. We haven't gotten that far yet. But basically all the hygienic factors, that they get a proper salary, crew food, all that is very important. Beyond that, it's basically the people. It's we have now about 3 or 4 people beyond those that are employed all year round that return pretty regularly. No, it's actually more. It's about 8. It's usually the ones that are settled in the valley, that have families or that have grown up there. They are more loyal. And they're actually a better parameter to sort of, or a better bench to see if they're really content, because the other ones are like migrating birds. They would go from season to season, and they're not quite as loyal as the birds. They're not always returning to the country or place where they are born. So they come to us and find us because they like to ski, they like the snow. The hotel, the group appeals to them. We start to have a certain reputation that it is a good place to work, that you do get your salary, that you do get overtime paid once overtime is due. All these things are sort of just, it's a build-up, and it's a permanent challenge.
How has the hospitality industry developed over the years? Do you notice that there are some changes in the last few years?
Yes and no. The general trend is that young people are particularly the present generations, the generations Y and the Z, are very conscientious. They're more demanding. They're preoccupied with their life-work balance, though much less when they come and work for our particular hotel than other places. Talking for our hotel, it's first and foremost, it's very hard to recruit in general, because the season is short, and it's it's a quite remote location, so you do attract a rather peculiar crowd. But particularly in the cities, basically also colleagues from other lines of business reports that young people are very conscientious. They're well educated. They read a lot. They're bombarded by information, disinformation. Their life is hectic. It's just not as. I think life was much simpler before, in an analog world, to put it that way. I don't know if this was a question or an answer to your question, or rather
it was
the other way around.
It was. All right, Sebastian. I see.
Yeah, so it's my turn.
Yeah.
So, it's very interesting to mirror your daily business in the one hand with the employees and the second hand with the guests. So I like this this quote, first class for active people in both sides, right? What me interested is who motivates the leader, because sometimes, we are honest, the day is not so good, or I have also some bad coffee in the morning, or what else. So what motivates you to lead this hotel, your teams, and be also the best version of a guest giver?
I think somebody taught me once to always attempt to be the best version of myself. As Diana pointed out, meanwhile I'm an old horse that finds its own way to the stable, so it's a bit different. But I think it's a lot of it has to do with the inner motivation. Basically, I was lucky enough to find my sort of call it a calling in life. I think I'm really committed and love to do what I do. I love my guests. I love to see them smile, make them at ease. So I think for myself, it has a lot to do with the just finding the inner motivation. I personally think it must be extremely difficult to live your life and go to work for something you're not really totally committed for. You always feel that, yeah, it's nice and I get paid well and the people are nice and they're friendly and they treat me well, but something is missing. It's like sort of being in a relationship and she's pretty and she's funny and she's smart, but it's just the last sort of sparkle is just missing. You keep on searching for something. So I feel that I'm in a very lucky position, and I have picked together a leader team for the hotel that I have had I've had the privilege to have on my side for a number of years. And I think literally all of them are really committed and give their best every day for their guests, for their crew, for the hotel. So we're extremely lucky. And as to the bad days and the bad coffee, I think the worst for me is basically if you start to ask me difficult questions before I had my first coffee. So it's rather about first coffee than about the quality of the coffee.
Sebastian, do you have your cup with you here?
My cup?
What, your cup?
This black one or this one? This one?
No, not this one. Sebastian has a cup. It's just the for du fragst mich? Nein?
Yeah. Before you ask, no.
No.
I guess bevor du mich etwas fragst, lass mich meinen Kaffee trinken, more or less.
Yeah. Yes.
It's all too. It's very interesting. And one last question from my side is, it's every time a result. What we see, you handle it very well. You are, or the mirror are your leaders team of yourselves, because you are a kind of role model, I would say so, right? How important it is. So I noticed that you work with Soprana some years already, right? What you would recommend to hotel owners, what you can do for yourself, what can you work internally, how you handle it, and what is better for outsourcing? What is important? What would you recommend to other hotel owners? Sometimes they struggle a little bit, we can all do the things for our own. because we want to control it better, or what is for you important when you work with exclusive partners or you do some outsourcing? What are the framing or the benchmarks for you?
Well, I'm a pragmatic guy, so I think Soprana services or other temp agency services are or generally outsourcing. Well, one of the philosophies is basically we'll also always need extra help to manage your peaks, because you're manned for a width that goes from here to there, and there you try to adjust your resources so you're correctly manned as to the activity that your business is generating every day. And above this bandwidth, again, in order to maintain the quality, you will be able to, it will be necessary with extra hands and heads. And they're obviously a good partner that has a stock of capable people handy is extremely convenient. Absolutely. There may also be for colleagues that really have a hard time finding their necessary resources, it may be advised to outsource an entire department. The most popular thing in Norway is to outsource the housekeeping resources. It has become more and more difficult to find staff and to find the right staff and to achieve the desired productivity numbers. So many of the facility management companies have top skills and top knowledge in managing these resources, and they would be able to get you good results with certain standards of excellence, a few defaults, and that might be the solution to it. So I think it's peaks or its entire outsourcing. Also, partial outsourcing may be an interesting idea, particularly in cities or where several hotels or units are close together, where you could eventually have a joint pool of staff, where if things are happening today at Hotel Excelsior, you can set them rather there. And usually the hotels, my experience is that they're not always talking so well together. It's a bit difficult. So an actor like a temp agency that basically is a good partner for all the hotels and would supply well-trained and reliable resources to different hotel partners would be a good thing. Yeah.
We also noticed that there is an increase in outsourcing. Like we have booking office, for example, for some companies where there are more bookings, reservations moved that they are inquiring. And we have also such booking center for our clients in Norway for 6-7 years already. So, and lately it has been on the rise. All right. I'm really, really happy that you share it. And I think this will be inspiration for a lot of people in hospitality industry. And I would like to thank our listeners for staying with us. Share your comments, listen, subscribe, and see us in April. Thank you for visiting us at Hotel Soprana podcast about hospitality. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, and see you in 2 weeks.